What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Hawk's Nest. Thanks for clicking on this video. As always, before we get started, make sure you like this video, smash that subscribe button. Greatly appreciated, all the love and support. Just trying to help you guys and provide value every single day for you guys. So today, this video is going to be all about sellers. What it takes to sell a house, things I do to prepare your house before we even put it on the MLS. A lot of times people think, I just want to list my house, I want to get it on the market right now. There's a lot of things to do before that even happens. So that's what this video is all about. Going to give you some tips, some tricks, things to do to prepare yourself. So I'm going to get it set up downstairs, then we're going to get started on this video. All right, everyone, let's jump right into this video. So, 3 biggest stressors in life, in my opinion: having a child, getting married, buying and selling real estate. In no particular order, whatever order you want to put them in, by all means. But this video is going to be for the first-time home sellers or people that are looking to just get a refresher course on how to sell a house. So I'm going to talk about the 10 steps, but mainly focusing on step 3. Step 3 is going to be my pre-launch prep work. But the 10 steps, just so you know, when we're working together, I'm just going to rattle them off really quick. We have discovery and research, listing appointment, pre-launch prep work, launch day, buyer prospecting, sales agreement, inspection contingencies, loan commitment, closing preparation, and then of course, closing. Those are the 10 steps when you are looking to sell a property. So, like I said, we're going to focus on step 3, which is the pre-launch prep work stuff. Let's get into that right now. So step 1 of the pre-launch prep work is going to be a thorough cleaning of your property. You may have seen this. I know you have. If you go on Zillow, Realtor.com, any of these other real estate websites, there are properties on there that you see that are in rough shape or they're not cleaned up, things like that. Stuff's everywhere, clutter's everywhere. Those properties, it's an immediate turnoff to a buyer if they're seeing them online. So thorough cleaning should be common sense. But there are oftentimes a lot of people that skip this step and don't do it as thoroughly as they should. And I promise you, you're only hurting yourself. So make sure you're doing a thorough cleaning of your property. That is step number 1. Step number 2 now is staging. So we have your property all cleaned. We're ready to have a stager come in. And this one is really optional. I'm going to show you some pictures here to show you the difference in what staging can do in a property and let you decide if you think it's worth it. I highly, highly recommend it if it is a vacant property. Absolute must. I'm going to show you some photos right now here of this property. As you can see, nice red house outside. Looks like there's a pole shed as well, of course. This was one that I sold about a year ago. As you can see, you have the pole shed there. This is a big one that I do in all my photos if I'm getting drone work done, is the approximate lot lines actually making a shape around the lot so people can get an idea of how much land comes with the house. Another thing that people should be doing in their listings, if you're an agent, if there's any big properties or big highlights, features in the area around this house. You can see in this drone photo here, I put the edge in the boat landing. This was right off of Lake Wissota, which is a prime lake here in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. That property is super close to that boat landing. So although it's not on water, this one it was just over a mile away from a boat landing. So that's a key feature you want to highlight. So in your photos, make sure your agent's doing that if there's something super unique or around your area. Here's another drone photo. As you can see, just highlighting the area, seeing how big and how close you are to the lake in this particular instance was super important, and I wanted to really highlight it. So that's what this picture is all about. But jumping to the staging now, before I show you this photo here, this property, I listed it and it was unstaged, and we were in it for about a month, I would say, when it was unstaged, and there were showings here and there, things like that, but there was not that much traction on this property, and the seller kept asking me why, what's going on, why is my property not selling? And going back to the very first time I ever met him, I told him up front, I think we should stage your property. So we didn't stage it at first, and with that in turn, we saw it. Everyone thought the price was high, things like that, because they couldn't envision themselves in the house. So that's why staging is so important. So Look at this first photo. You can see here, we have the kitchen, living room. The other thing with this property is there was a ton of wood in it. Yeah, you know, you had wood floors, wood walls, things like that, and you'll see it in some of the other photos. So there was a ton of wood, and that was hard for buyers to look past. You can see this one here. Look at it finished and staged. We added some blue accents, a dining table, some whites, things like that. Broke up all that wood. You can see here it made a giant difference. Jumping to this photo, you can see in the wood, so this was the wood, all the wood paneling that I was talking about. You had it in the living room and the dining area as well. It was super tough. It's just wood throughout. Taking a look at this next picture, look at it all staged. You got the grays, and I never thought blue or gray would have gone in this property, but it absolutely fit. It was gorgeous. You have this all staged up, looks super nice. Jumping to the kitchen, just look how bare it is in there. You know, it's just white walls, white and black. Doesn't look terrible. I wanted to really highlight the countertop space in this one. It was just so much, it just looks so plain. Just adding a few things here, as you can see in this next photo, the blues, everything, it pops. It just adds a little bit of flair and pizzazz, I like to say, to the space. Having just even little things to offset the countertop and the counter space, excuse me, really makes a difference. As you can see, this is just another angle of the kitchen. Here it is with the stuff on it and everything in there. It's just a lot nicer photo. Let's jump back really quick to that other one. Just look how plain it is in there. It's just whites and browns, and it's hard to envision anything in there. And this other photo, night and day difference. I mean, you can see it looks homey, and that's what buyers want to feel when they're looking through the photos. Here's just the living room, and up close it was completely plain. Boom, brand new, nice grays. Like I said, the grays and blues, it looks super nice in there. I wish you could have seen it in person. It makes a world of difference having that furniture in there, and you can envision the space. Another angle of the living room. Here it is with the kitchen, dining table. You can kind of see it all. Super nice. Jumping to the bedroom. So here's a before photo. They just had one bed in there. The carpet looked not ideal in the photos. It wasn't in bad shape by any means, but it was just the color. This next one, to offset that, we did some greens and whatnot in there. So it really matched the room nice. And that headboard too just makes a world of difference, and the little accent pieces on the wall as well. Here's another photo. This was a great space, great office space, but just super open. Look at it now with the bed in there and everything. You can envision someone actually sleeping in this room. If you wanted to use it as a bedroom, of course, I said office, you could use it as an office or bedroom. And lastly, just a couple other photos here. This was a photo that we had on there. It was just a small bed in there. Just looks super bare. As you could see, we really spruced it up, had the yellow accents, things like that on there. Just really added a nice touch to the property. It makes a world of difference, guys. I promise you, staging is worth it. You may think it's a ton of money, but in the long run, staging, I cannot remember the percentage, but it is a ridiculously high percentage. The difference that you can get when you are trying to sell a property staged versus unstaged. So highly consider it. If it's vacant, without question, you need to do it. Another thing when it comes to staging in photos, I always tell my sellers this: you need to make sure your light bulbs in your house are the same color and temperature. If you have different color temperature bulbs in your property, it can come through on the photos depending on who photographs the house, how they do photography, things like that. My photographer, he does this technique where he uses flash to offset shadows and can kind of blend the photos all into one. So it looks super light and clean in the property. But making sure you have the consistent lighting throughout the house is a must. You need to make sure you do that as well. So now you have the light bulbs changed out. They're all the same color temperature. It's staged. Maybe you just tweak some things around. You didn't stage the property, but you have your own furniture and you move that stuff around. That's always a good thing too, that you can do, is just tweak your living space a little bit. There's a difference when you're living in a property versus when you're listing it, and sometimes moving things around can really open up the space and whatnot. So let's say you did all of that. So all of that's good to go. Photos is next. This should go without saying, and as agents, we need to make sure we are doing this. Professional photography is an absolutely essential piece that your realtor needs to be providing. If they come in with an iPhone or an Android and they're snapping photos on their phone, you need to just pump the brakes and stop immediately. And also, if a realtor has a camera, I just invested in a super nice camera. That doesn't mean I'm a photographer. I don't know the first thing about photography and whatnot. Having a professional come in there and actually do it, they know what they're doing. Leave it to them. Make sure your realtors are paying for professional photos. It should just go without saying. Make sure they're actually taking them with a nice camera. Like I said before, first things buyers are seeing online are photos. You are selling your house when they're looking at photos, not when they're at the property. You're selling your house online. The buyers are just verifying everything about the house when they're going and doing a showing. So make sure your photos are on point, crystal clear, super clean and crisp. Must do that. If that is the one takeaway from this video, make sure professional photography is done. Flat out. One other thing with photos. This is something, not all realtors do it, but I actually go to all of my photo sessions whenever I'm listing a property. I like to go there. I like to make sure things are moved out of the way. It's all the little things that people don't think about that I do as a day-to-day. I'm a realtor and I'm in this full time. Prime example, when I'm in the bathroom, make sure the toilet seats are down. There's so many times I go into a property or I'm looking online in the MLS and the toilet seats are up. People don't want to see that. They want to see clean, crisp photos, and having the toilet seat up, that's a big one. That's a very common one that's missed. Another thing too, like trash cans, things like that in the bathrooms, make sure those are out for the photos. I don't like to say clutter. I like to say edit a home instead of declutter. So editing the home, less is more when it comes to photos. So you want to make sure that things are tucked away in a closet. Otherwise, put them in a garage. People understand when you're selling a property, you have stuff and you need to move it. So the garage, if you don't have a storage unit or your closet space is full, the garage is your next best bet. Put everything in there. You want to keep it simple and clean throughout the house. Less is more, like I said. Anything that you're not going to be using within the next, I would say 2 months, put it outside. Keep it pretty bare in your house. Less is more. So now that photos are done, the next biggest thing is gathering the receipts of any work completed that you have done that's going to be significant. There was landscaping done and you just spent 10 grand on landscaping, or maybe a new deck, you had a contractor come out do a deck. If there's any big ticket items that you've done to add value into a property, leave those out on the countertop so people can see those during showings. People can see you've invested money into your house. That, to a buyer's perspective, it shows, okay, this seller has cared, they've added value, and everything they've done to the property has been done by a professional. And then if you were to do a pre-inspection, it could have been verified by a home inspector as well. So after photos are done, you could be doing this at the same time as photos, but if you were to be doing a pre-inspection on the home, or if you had a well and septic and doing a pre-inspection on that, that's going to be the next thing. So during or before maybe the photos, whatever works. If you do that pre-inspection up front on the well and septic and home inspection, if you know it's going to pass, that's going to give buyers peace of mind that they're buying a great home. So if you want to spend a little bit of money on a pre-inspection, that could make the offers that come in even stronger, where you don't have home inspection contingencies within the offers, and it's one less thing that could go wrong when you're trying to sell your house. That would be the next thing, home inspection or pre-inspections on well and septic or the house. Great thing to do. If you're not going to do that, I always encourage a seller to instead maybe offer a home warranty in lieu of the inspections. That gives buyers peace of mind after closing. If something goes wrong, that they have this home warranty that can protect them. And the home warranty is if there's anything that significantly breaks in the property, let's say the AC stops working and the furnace stops working, that home warranty company, as long as it's a viable claim and nothing was wrong with it came up on the home inspection process when the purchase was happening, they should be able to help out with some costs regarding the replacement of the AC or furnace. Doing that gives buyers peace of mind, especially first-time home buyers. You know, they're spending a ton of money. This is one of their biggest purchases that you'll make in your life, is buying a house or selling a house. They want to make sure that their investment is protected, and the home warranty is a great way to do that for a buyer, especially a first-time home buyer. Lastly, before this house hits the market, so we've done the cleaning, the staging, lighting, photos, gathering the receipts, the pre-inspections, all of that. The last thing is just taking time, and this is on the realtor's end, to get the marketing materials together. I can't get postcards made up, I can't get booklets made, I can't get any paper marketing materials that I'm gonna be using done until those photos are completed. So that's why getting the photos done right away up front and the thorough cleaning is important, because then I can use those photos to make those other marketing materials. That's a big thing that sometimes people forget, is there's the photography, then the photographer has to edit the photos before I even get them back, and then it's going to take another 1 to 3 days, depending how busy a company is, to print out these, get these nice quality things made up. It could take a little bit, so that's why I say a week. Sometimes it can even be 2 weeks. It really depends on how much work you have that you need to do in the property, how big the house is. Is it a luxury house where we need to do a little bit of extra marketing and preparation? There's a lot of things, so that's why I always get a kick out of it when people say, yeah, I want to list my house tomorrow. There's so much more that goes to it, and you're just going to be hurting yourself if you were to put it on right then and there the next day. So doing this prep work, I promise, is worth it. So that's going to do it, guys. That's going to be the video. Went a little longer than I thought, but I hope it was worth it if you got to the end of this video. Thanks for watching it. I really hope it helps you guys out preparing your houses to sell. Like I said, this is like the most important piece, and I hope it was a ton of value for you. Thank you guys for clicking on my latest video. It really means the world to me that you took time out of your day to watch it. If you found this content informational and valuable, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is how I gauge what you want me to bring to the table and what's important to you guys, and this is what keeps me going. So until the next video, I really appreciate you stopping in at the Hawk's Nest, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.